Hello and welcome everybody to another edition of Overcoming Illness. I am your host and founder and CEO of Enrich Your Health. And I decided to do this show because there's many people out there with illnesses that their stories need to be told. So if you've never seen the show before, please go back and watch the replays. Go over to Elevation TV Network and give them some love on their YouTube channel, their Facebook channel. We're on every Sunday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And we've had all kinds of stories. People with heart disease, Lyme disease, mold toxicity, autism, lots of different stories, even COVID, you name it. So feel free to go back and watch some of the replays. I've had some amazing guests. I am looking for more guests. I myself suffered from multiple food allergies. So I specialize in helping people change their diet and lifestyle with simple recipes. I had to eat dairy-free, gluten-free, sugar-free, you name it. So I have lots of recipes out there that can help you, even like right now around the holidays with Thanksgiving and Christmas. Um, I couldn't put anything on my plate. It was so dreadful for me. Like, oh my gosh, what am I going to eat? So I've put together recipes for like the holidays, good appetizers, desserts that, you can either adjust them very easily to be dairy free or whatever, or they already are gluten free or something. So if you're looking for something like that, follow me on my social media, Facebook, mostly Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, all those different ones, and TikTok. I'm doing a little bit on there too. You can reach me if you want customized recipes at Facebook, Instagram, and it's Paula Denoncourt. It's just my name, and that's Denoncourt. You can reach me there. Or you can text me 508-330-9665 and I'll get back to you. That's the easiest way. Instagram Messenger, Facebook Messenger, text me, or even my email, enrich your health with the number 1 at gmail.com. And enrich your health has a UR if you're only listening. So I am really excited tonight to have my guests that I have on tonight. This is only a smidgen of the people that put this book together. But I am excited to introduce these wonderful guests tonight and the book that they have. It's just an amazing book that they put together with several co-authors. So let me first introduce the what's the word I want? The person that put this together, whose vision this book was turning your pain into purpose. So Dr. Shana Gourdine, she's an empowerment advocate and inspirational author. Shana Gourdine's life took an unexpected turn when she confronted the harsh reality of domestic violence and grappled with 4 different health conditions. Rather than allowing these challenges to define her, Shana embarked on a transformative journey to rebuild her self-esteem and inspire others facing similar trials. As a result, she has become a prolific author, speaker, advocate dedicated to helping individuals rediscover self-love after enduring disappointments, trauma, and disability. In her diverse roles, Shana wears many hats, including that of a poet, motivational speaker, podcast host, spoken word artist, self-love life coach, magazine owner, advocate for domestic violence awareness and chronic illnesses. You can see the two definitely relate. Over the course of 5 years, Shana has authored numerous titles, both individually and in collaboration with others. Her debut book, The Mask Behind the Mask, is a collection of poetry that encourages readers to embrace their imperfections and find beauty in their daily experiences. Unveiled Pieces of a Broken Mask delves deeper into the baggage people carry, don't we all? from their past, guiding them towards liberation. Additionally, Shana has written Evolution of the Mask, Power in Me, a children's book, and Come Learn A to Z with Me. Release a poetry album, Released a poetry album in 2022. I Was Always a Rose in Darkness of My Love. And then she also had another one from Trauma to Through Embracing My Royalty. Shana's literary and motivational journey has earned her acclaim and recognition, including the Purple Ribbon Award of Courage. That's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Viewers' Choice Award as the executive producer of the film Through Your Eyes, the, ma- the Mask Behind the Mask, and recognition at the Global Africa Fashion for Peace World event in 2021. She has achieved remarkable milestones as a 10 times bestseller and international bestseller on Amazon. Congratulations on that. That's amazing in itself. Received the 2022 I Am Her International Woman on the Rise and Women Influencers Awards and earned the 2023 YWCA Art and Culture Women Empowerment Award. Her impact has been featured in Spotlight Magazine, Hope's Magazine, Dream Spire Book Magazine, Channel 13, Channel 10, and Channel 6, Spectrum News, and the Troy Record newspaper. This woman is incredible.
And that's
Two
just
girls.
that's a snippet of everything. That's just that's the short of the accolades. But I don't do it for that.
Yeah. So Shayna's literary and motivational journey has earned her. Oh, we read that already. I'm sorry. Let's see. We got that. Oh, there's one more thing. So originally hailing from Cross, South Carolina, Shayna now calls Troy, New York. I'm sorry. Shayna now calls Troy, New York, her home. And when she's not immersed in her advocacy and writing, she cherishes moments spent with her two beautiful daughters, enjoys leisurely walks, relishes the opportunity to travel, and delights in the art of cooking. Welcome, welcome, Dr. Shana. What an honor and privilege to have you here tonight.
Thank you. Thank you
So,
for having me.
yeah, so just tell us a little bit of I mean we kind of touched on most of it. So tell us how this book came to be and then just give us the synopsis of the book before we kick it off with the other authors.
Absolutely. It's quite interesting how it came to be. Actually, it came off of me being diagnosed with something else. Back in April, I got diagnosed with DVT. I was literally in my living room and on my way out to my daughter's track event, and my doctor called me and said, "You need to go to the hospital. You have a DVT." I said, "What is a DVT?" They said, "You have blood clots." So
Okay.
during this moment, that was like, I think, could be the scariest thing ever, because you know how you watch all these shows and that could lead to the blood clot loosening, and you get an aneurysm, or it goes
Right.
into your lungs and all this stuff. So just to have that, going through that, sitting through the 6 hours of torture, not knowing, not, it's like, all right, how can I turn this into a purpose?
Hmm.
Because I've already was diagnosed with about five other conditions that I've been living with.
Oh my goodness.
So to deal with that and then have that on top of it, it's like, all right, how can I turn my purpose how can I turn my pain into a purpose, and not, you know, be like more purpose over fear,
Hmm.
or courage over silence, or, healing over hiding. And it's like, hey, let me help others have a voice. Let me help others share their walk with other people to help them become a better version of themselves.
Mm.
So my goal, I've learned that I was the vessel, and that everything that I'm dealing with is not for me. It's more of, yes, I deal with it, but I'm dealing with it to be able to help someone else go through it.
Right.
So it's more of my mission. Yes, I went through domestic violence, but I'm here to give people a voice that can't speak for themselves. Yes, I
Yeah.
have several conditions, but I'm here to walk people through the moments in the toughest moments of their lives. Because if you look at me, I don't look like anything's wrong with me. So that's
Mm-mm.
one reason why I titled my book The Mask Behind the Mask. So
Mhm.
turning my pain into purpose was to gather 38 souls together and allow them to share their story and
Mm.
give people a sense of they were here and now they're there and look what I can do because they did it too.
Mhm. Yeah.
So the synopsis of the book is it's a collection by visionary by Shana Gourdine. This inspired collection is 38 featured individuals sharing their journey of pain into purpose, during the adversary of how they found their strength and hope in the darkest moments. With the forward by Carolyn Wilson, this anthology offers encouragement to anyone seeking healing, resilience, and a path forward. These powerful testimonies is here to show that even in hardship, purpose can be found. And the point is just to inspire the world that you can be and do anything you want. Don't let whatever you have been diagnosed with, dealing with,
Right.
life done slap you with. It's
Mhm.
another side to it, and we can get
Yeah.
through it, but we have to work through it. So take that pain and turn it into a purpose.
Yeah. I live by that. I always say your pain is your purpose because, like I said in the beginning of the show, I dealt with multiple food allergies. If you've never seen my show, I almost died from that. It nearly took me out. So from that, I became a health coach because it was like I can help other people. And, even from not even just being a health coach, but I've learned so much from it. So much. Not even just about food allergies, food sensitivities. I also fell into the world of helping people with autoimmune issues like Lyme disease. So yeah, we'll have to talk to Shane and see what all these issues are that because I've helped in that world like autoimmune, it's either Lyme disease, lupus, Parkinson's, MS. They're all very similar. Not saying they're one and the same, but
Mm-hmm.
the treatment is similar as to how to control it. We'll just say that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, welcome again. Thank you for being here. I'm excited about this book. Having it, you already became a bestseller with this book
Yes.
as well, right? Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, now we're going to go to Miss Natasha, and we are going to talk about Miss Natasha and her part in the book. Let me pull
Yes.
up her information. So we have Miss Natasha Cook, her chapter for turning my pain into purpose, she says was hard to relive due to it bringing up memories. She wanted to erase memories she wanted to erase. Everything was being taken away from her, such as her home, her car, etc. To go in a court for custody over her daughter took a toll on her mentally. However, she managed to get through it with the help of therapy. So once this opportunity came about, she thought it was time to share her story. She felt that she needed to share because so many women and men went through the same trials and tribulations as herself, and just wanted to help people know that they are not alone and have someone who've been through it, have been through it too. And if they have faith and trust in the Lord, He will definitely get you out of any bad situation. I could not agree more.
Yes.
Welcome, Miss Natasha. So,
Hi, how are you? Thank you for having me.
thank you for being here. Thank you for being on. I'm excited to hear your story and your chapter. Tell us a little bit of background about yourself. Where are you? Where are you originally from? Do you have any family?
Yes, I'm actually originally from Baltimore, Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
I have some family up in New York. Actually have family all around New York,
Yeah.
Virginia, North Carolina, Dallas. Not, I'm sorry, not Dallas. Florida.
Mm-hmm.
I have family all around.
Okay. And what made you, before I even go into any of the questions you wanted me to ask, what made you decide to do this book? Like, was it instant? Like, I got to do this, or did you have to think about it?
It wasn't instant. It did take me some time to actually think about writing my chapter because I was
Mhm.
like, I don't know if I wanted to relive that experience that I just went to because it was so traumatizing.
Right.
But I just thought about it and I prayed on it and I was like, I need to get my story out there. I
Mm,
know I'm not the only one that went through the things that I went through. Like I was on the verge of losing my house. I have lost my car. In the midst of all of this going on, I was battling custody for a year straight.
mm,
I had just started a new job. So I was like, I need to get this out because
okay.
I know I'm not the only one.
Okay. So let's back up a little bit. So talk to us about the writing of the story. How did that go for you? Like, did you have to do a little bit of a time at a time and it started to bring out some of these emotions and you're like, got to go back to it later? How did that go?
When I was writing, it just it just flowed.
Okay.
Once I started, I could not stop. I
Nice.
felt like I had to get it all out. But
Mm,
after I got it all out, it felt like such a relief.
mm,
Like it just felt like this was something that I had to do.
right.
Yeah, it felt really good to just get it just felt like it was a lift off of
Mm-hmm.
me.
Right. And now you can only imagine how many people that's going to help, you know?
Yes. Yes. And I'm praying that it helped everyone who reads my chapter. I hope they receive some message from it. I hope it enlighten or make things a little easier knowing that they not the only ones that are going through a situation like that.
Right. Right. So, how did you know you wanted to even be a writer? Did you think that you would write like your own book first before even doing like a anthology type book?
Um, it all started back in high school. I'm saying my age now. Um, um, 24 years ago. It actually started in high school. I actually took a creative writing class and I enjoyed it so much. But then once I graduated, I stopped.
Mm,
And when this situation happened with my car being taken, my house being about to be taken away with that situation, I couldn't sleep. And in the middle of the night, I would just get up and just started writing.
mm,
So when I was up in the middle of the night, like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning and writing, it all came together into a book that I actually currently have out now called Friends Before Enemies. That was released last year on Amazon and it's
okay.
still available.
All right.
Um, it was like once I was writing in the middle of the night, once I got all of my thoughts out, then I
Mhm.
was able to go to sleep.
Wow.
So it was I feel like this was something that was meant that I needed to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow. So when did you do that book? How long ago was that book?
This book, Friends Before Enemies, was released last year in November 2023.
And then you
And it actually was nominated for 2024 DAG Guild
congratulations.
Distinguished Guild Award.
Mm-hmm.
I just actually came back from Chicago on November 8th. Unfortunately, I wasn't a winner, but I felt like I were a winner because it have taught me so much. The experience was awesome. I really enjoyed just learning more about the literary field. It was just awesome.
Mm, I love it. That's great. Yeah, you are a winner. Absolutely. That's
Yes, yes.
that's
I felt when I walked away, I just felt like I was a winner. Well, we all were winners who were nominated.
so you say like everything was being taken away from you. without giving too much, of your chapter, I don't want to give it all away, but how long were you married? And how
Oh,
long were you married before he started to be abusive? We'll try to make it general.
right. Well, we were together for 18 years.
Oh my goodness.
He was not abusive. The thing was he did more of the mental part of it.
Gotcha.
Um, the last straw was when he cheated and had an outside child. That what did it for me.
Mm,
And it was how he did it, whereas though everything was kept a secret. Like after he told me that he had this outside child, it was more like, okay, now we had this house together. I'm putting it on the market.
okay.
Or we had a car together, so I'm taking the car.
Hmm.
And we already had a daughter, so now I had to ask family members, can I hold your car? Or I had to ask, can you take out my daughter to school? I don't know how she's getting to school and getting home
Hmm.
from school. So it was more of a mental state of what he did to me.
Right. And it was probably more like of a grieving process for you.
Yes, it
You've been there
definitely was.
18 years with that
Yes.
crutch. Yeah.
Yes,
But
yes.
and somewhat of a
And when
friend.
he told me that, I felt like all this anger, all this hurt, all like I just felt like he just lied. It just felt dishonest. Like, where's the loyalty? And actually, that's what my book "Friends Before Enemies" is about the deceit, about the
Right.
betrayal. Like, I left all of the feelings that I had bottled up inside that book.
Mm, wow. Yeah, that's a long time to be with somebody. That is losing your best friend, and
Yes,
you know,
yes. And that's exactly how I felt. I felt like I lost my best friend.
and kind of going to the domestic violence subject. You guys don't know me. I worked in a prison for 22 years. It was an all male prison. I was a dispatcher, and let me tell you, people, especially the officers, they judged people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was all male. So when I first started, we didn't even have a drawer for what do you call them, 209As, restraining orders. I'm like thinking of the word restraining order. We didn't even have a drawer for that. Wasn't even a file cabinet for it. Little by little, we started to have file cabinets for it. Of course, a massive amount of files for domestic violence and restraining orders. But if they were in jail, they started to have stipulations. Oh, if they're in jail, you can still come see them. So um, they were judged. A lot of times the officers will be like, they're so stupid. Why are they still doing this and that and the other? You're not in their shoes.
Right.
They could be fearing their lives. That's one, like, I always perceive things differently. You know what I mean?
Right.
I
Right.
watched the movie, not that it has to do with domestic violence, but just how we're all human. Um, Dead Man Walking. And when I watched that movie, it just made me realize we're all human. We could wind up behind bars tomorrow. Could hit
Yes.
somebody and kill somebody.
Yeah.
Anything can happen. In my younger years, I partied, I drank. I could have killed somebody. I mean, I don't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anything can happen at any time. And we're always so like judgmental. Like, why don't you leave? Why don't you? And that alone is a lot on a person. So
Yes.
tell us, did anybody try to do that with you? Like family members, friends? Why
They
don't
actually did.
Yeah.
They
That's
actually
hard.
did. Yes. My cousin, she would ask me, like, Tasha, what's going on between you two? Like, it's
Mhm.
okay, it's okay to start over. And then the mindset that I was at the time, I was like, no, I'm going to stick it out. He treats me good.
Mhm.
He's not abusing me. Like, I was in that mind frame where I would look past all the red flags that he was
Right.
doing because I was in love per se.
And I think you hold on to who they used to be.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
I've seen it. I had neighbors that they were abusing the wife, and you would hear like her getting abused, like hit the wall. It was a condo, and but a few days later you would hear the "I loved you," all
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean? Like it was just ridiculous.
Yeah, or they would shy, or they would give you gifts. I remember the first time he ever cheated, he gifted me with a brand new truck.
Mm,
So that's the kind of things that he would do. Like he will do it mentally.
right.
Yes.
And how was your health through all this? Did you have any health challenges?
Um, I did develop high blood pressure through everything. I did develop anxiety, and that's where the therapy came in at. I started therapy
Yeah,
last year, maybe in April, I want to say. Therapy has been very, very good, very, very awesome.
good.
Opened my eyes to a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't diagnosed with anxiety, through a doctor,
Right.
but and like, meaning I don't take any medicine or nothing for it, but through my therapist, she did say I had anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
but it's on a low level of
Good.
anxiety.
That's good. And
Yes.
how about your daughter? How is she?
My daughter, she's coping with it.
Mm-hmm.
She's just taking it day by day. I
Right.
try not to let it affect her too much, too much of it. She does still go and be with him per the custody order.
How old is she?
She's 11.
Okay, yeah, it's a tough age.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to, even though I know things are different, I try to still see if they have that bond between them
Right.
two, because
Right.
I really don't want her to lose that, because at the end of the day it's still her father,
Right.
but I can't keep also holding her back for going with him if that's not what she wants to do. Like, I can't push her as
Right.
well.
Right. No, that's good. You don't want to yeah, you want them to have a relationship if it's there. You know what I mean?
Right, right,
She
right.
needs it. She needs it. Yeah.
Yes,
And if
yes,
you can provide that, then that's good. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's say. So what would you say to someone that's going through something like this?
Um, just stay prayed up. Pray. You will definitely get through it.
Mhm.
If you need to go to therapy, the therapist wide, you know, seek that help.
Mm,
If you need to reach out to me, I'm more than happy. You could reach me on Facebook under author Natasha Cook, or that's my author's page. It's
mhm,
best to message me. I'm willing, if you need an ear to talk to. That's I'm welcome to
mm.
anybody who needs to talk. But just hang in there. It definitely will get better day by day.
And I would just say, like I said earlier, don't, it's not an easy thing to just
It's not.
up and leave, and don't let people get to you.
Yes,
Are in
don't.
the
Because
situation. It's there's a lot to it. You got to make sure you're gonna have enough income. You have a place
yep,
to live. How they
yep,
come after you. There's so much to it. You
yes,
know more than I do, but I
yes.
know from what I witnessed working in that type of environment. You know, but yeah,
Yes, it's definitely not easy. It
ab-
is not.
absolutely not.
Mhm.
I admit, I was a little bit judgmental at first too, but then I'm like, you know what? Who am I to judge? We don't,
Yeah,
and like I can't. Could
yeah,
I? It could happen to anybody. I mean, another woman I worked with at the jail, she was a coworker, same things. Like she married this guy, thought he was Mr. Wonderful. The mask came off.
Yeah.
Suddenly he was,
Yeah.
and he wasn't.
I also want to, yes, I also want to say if they show their true colors, believe it.
Yeah.
Believe it.
Yeah. And I would say too, and a lot of times they do put on a mask. So
Yes.
watch for those red flags
Yes.
as relationships develop, even before marriage, after, you know what I mean? Watch
Yes.
for those red flags. Don't let it go too far.
No,
They get
please
pretty
don't.
quickly. Yep.
They will do a 360 very quickly.
Yep. Absolutely. What in your chapter are you most proud of?
All of it.
Right? Yeah.
I'm proud of all of it, but
Yeah.
I'm more prouder of getting my story out there.
Good.
That was the main thing that I wanted to do because I was very skeptical. I was a very private person. Like, no, I don't want to people all in my business. But then I really thought about it like, yeah, no, it's time to stop thinking that way, stop thinking that negative way, and start thinking positive. Like this can help somebody. This can help somebody get through it. So I was like, yep, I'm going to do it. I'm going to put this out there. So I'm even proud of myself for making that big step.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's awesome. Yeah, I had a very wise prophet tell me once, if we don't get the book out there or books or whatever we're meant to do, or even like the TV show, there's people out there waiting for what we have.
Yes.
And then some. You don't know like what they may get out of this book that they're going to teach somebody else. Like
yes.
Somebody's destiny is waiting on this ripple effect,
Yes.
He told me that once, and that just like changed my whole life, like really, because I didn't never thought of it that way, because I can be a procrastinator, not gonna lie.
Yeah, we all can.
Yeah, you just tend to do that. And but when he said that, I knew. I was like, okay, God, whatever it is you want me to do, I'll do. You know what I mean? Like, because I know people waiting for it. So when the time came, when the time was right, I did a book. I did 2 books, 2 anthologies. My last one was Activate Your Faith, Witness a Generational Turnaround.
Yeah.
So we had some amazing people in there. It's more about like a couple of people got through having strokes, and one had an airplane crash, and another one had 1 kidney. Just unbelievable stories in there. Overcome, like you believe. Another one she's going blind, so how she deals with that. She's just got, I think it's diabetic retinopathy, something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And she was just teaching us so much about being blind. I was like, I would never thought of that. Like she was telling us, I'll tell you guys this quickly. She was telling us how, like, if she's walking on the street, she's learned to smell. Like say you're in the city, right? Like you go into like a doctor's office or what, it was like the smell would get her there. Like she would smell like, I don't know which one, but could be like Chick-fil-A, for example.
Right.
Like, okay, I'm at Chick-fil-A. I know I got 2 more steps. You know what I mean? Like I've got 2 more steps to turn like who would have thought like something like that?
Right.
Yeah, just incredible. She's very outgoing. She said she gets out more now than she did before she was going blind.
Oh wow.
Yep.
Oh,
Goes to
wow.
like whatever. Like when we did the book, it was around this time of year, and she was like, "Oh, I'm doing all these Christmas parties and da da da." Yeah.
Oh, she just was
more now than she
going.
did
She was
before.
active.
Isn't that crazy? Yep.
Yes. Oh wow, that's awesome though.
Yep. Yep. So there are some amazing overcomers out there, that's for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
Well,
Absolutely.
Natasha, I want to thank you for sharing your story. Hopefully it gave people enough information and thirst to want to read the book and your chapter and learn more about what you went through and how you dealt with it and how you coped with it. I tried not to tell too much.
Yeah.
I don't want to give it all away on you, but
Right.
I
Yes, and I thank you for having me again.
You're welcome. And now I want to go to Miss Corrine. I hope I am pronouncing that right.
You are.
Okay, Miss, yeah, let me try to get the last name. Miss Corrine Zuliger. Is that right?
Mhm.
Okay, so let me get your bio here. So Corrine says after losing her dad and brother to substances, she vowed it would not happen to one more person she loves. She herself has struggled with mental health issues, including depression, suicidal ideation. As a mom of 3 adult children, she understands the trials and tribulations of motherhood. These events led her to learning about childhood trauma and how it affects overall health, a deeper understanding of mental wellness issues, shame, vulnerability, and emotional intelligence and the brain science behind it all, which is pretty amazing. She's a transformation and healing strategist. Her tools include 1-star dual elite certified neuroencoding specialist and founding member of the Neuroencoding Institute, licensed brain trainer with Dr. Daniel Amen. I know who he is. That's amazing. I love him. He's an advanced certified trauma practitioner, John Maxwell team member, quantum leap specialist trained in RAMP, a subconscious technique. She's trained in Freedom Point, another subconscious technique. She's a licensed teaching partner with the Empowered Living Community, trauma informed care trained, resilience trained, and well versed in adverse childhood experiences. She uses tools to guide women to feel safe in their bodies, know their worth, and empower their future by breaking through old patterns and finding joy, freedom, abundance, and peace by changing their psychology about themselves and others and the world around them. Are you going to continue to be a part of that chain, or is it over with you? So welcome, Corrine.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Where did you grow up? Do you have family? Give us a little background.
Hmm. Well, a little bit about me. I grew up kind of all over. Um, so
Yeah.
in the state of Wisconsin. So we moved from Milwaukee to Green Bay, and then my dad thought it would be a really good idea to move us out to the middle of nowhere because that was going to keep us out of trouble.
That's funny.
Let me tell you,
Hmm.
little kids know how to find trouble too. So,
Right.
uh, so yeah, so I kind of grew up all over. I am married. I just celebrated 30 years of marriage with my husband, and we
Good.
have three grown children. Like I said in the bio, they're
Hmm.
28 and 25. One lives in New York City, and the other two are in LA.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
yeah, so yeah, they did that to me the year that my mom was dying. One one moved to one coast, and the two moved to the other coast,
And
and
they both went to like the biggest cities you can find. A far cry from like living in a rural, urban, suburban neighborhood.
uh, yes, because they were raised primarily in a little bitty town.
Right.
Yeah, so we see each other though. We see each other enough. We try to make sure that we have two big trips together each year. To
Hmm.
and then every Sunday night we have a family FaceTime.
Oh, that's funny. That's nice.
Yeah,
So they
so
like living in the big city compared to living in like country.
we do. I think that I know for sure that they're not coming back here.
Hmm. Interesting.
Said that.
Yeah, because I grew up like in like a country bumpkin. I have no desire to live in a city. Mm-mm. I mean, I went to school at New York School of Integrated Nutrition, and loved being in New York. Loved walking around. That part I miss. I love walking everywhere, but I wouldn't want to live there. No, thank you. Not my thing.
But they're single. They're all single and they're young.
Yeah, they like it.
Yeah, so it's
Gotcha.
done well at this point in life, and I'm like, go get it out of your system. You know? Um, but
And-
I do have like where my daughter lives in New York City. It's the quiet part,
mm,
and where our kids are in LA is not downtown. They're
okay, gotcha.
closer to campus, and so the areas are really quiet.
Yeah.
But as far as for me and what I do, um, well, I have a podcast. It's called The
Mm-hmm.
And on that podcast, we bring to light the secrets that we have been holding, and we bring them out so that we can heal them. Because when we keep secrets it affects us in our body. It affects
Absolutely.
our health, right? So depending on what it is that we're keeping a secret, it can affect us to various degrees. So
Mm-hmm.
lots of different healing modalities. I love to have conversation. I love to make connections with people. I love to connect people to other people.
Yeah, me too.
So it's I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
fun for me. And then along with being a transformation and healing strategist, I love to come up with the best way, and I believe that every person has their answers within them, and my goal is simply to help them come to their own answers and be that guide and um, just kind of take them through a journey. I'm just simply there to help them see around the blind spots.
Gotcha. So tell us a little bit about your chapter. What's the name of your chapter?
The name of my chapter is From Grief to Growth,
Okay.
Finding Freedom in Self-Acceptance Through Loss.
Okay.
Yeah. So the premise of it is how I um, came to find me and learn to love and accept me by finding the gift in every one of the people that I love, the loss of them. Because I lost my dad, then I lost my brother, lost my best friend, my mom, and then my favorite dog.
Oh
So,
my goodness.
um,
Wow.
yeah, so I was able to take a look at each one of their lives. What did I learn, from them and through them, and apply that into my own life? What kind of journey did it take me on?
Mm,
And it's been quite a journey, um, to really learning and understanding myself um, through every single one of those losses. So that's what the chapter is about. So I have to read it to find out more.
right. We don't want to give it all away. I totally get it. I
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah.
So what brought you down a path of healing?
Well, it would be the very first loss, which would be the loss of my dad. And losing my dad, just, a little bit of insight would be, as I grew up in an unsafe home. And what I mean by that is my dad was a substance abuser, and
Okay.
in that brought um, a lot of violence,
Mm,
a lot of disruption. My parents were teenagers, and they had us, high school dropouts.
mm,
Um, honestly, they, um, my job is not to villainize them. I actually applaud them for the lives that they were able to make for themselves, um,
mm-hmm.
in total, against all odds situations. So, I am I was a product of the product, right? And it headed down a pretty slippery slope before I had my own child. In
Mm-hmm.
having her really shifted the trajectory of my own life. Um,
Mm,
my dad opened up my eyes, set me down a path of wanting to do more. One of the goals I have with what I do is to leave a legacy of, um, and that legacy is I would love to see. I know that in my lifetime I'm not going to see child abuse end, but any sort of dent I can put into it,
Mm,
it's really important to me. And the statistics are so high. If child abuse, if we could, and just put a big dent in child abuse, we would reduce mental illness, we would
mm,
reduce incarceration, we would reduce suicide, we would reduce substance abuse. So it has a ripple effect in and of itself. And,
mm,
um, and the word abuse, and to really understand the whole of it, right, is that it's not just physical abuse. We're talking
mm,
abuse that can be, emotionally and mentally done. And then
right.
we're also looking at spiritual abuse as well, right? Because there is enough of that as well. So as a whole, what can I do? And that's simply raise awareness, right? I can bring people on to my podcast to have conversation in and
Mm,
around tough topics, like things people don't want to talk about, right? They don't. We tend to want to, if especially as women, like we'll just keep stuffing it down inside of us until eventually our bodies start screaming at us and it comes literally exploding out. And
mhm,
we need to talk about it, right? And it doesn't,
mhm.
I talk about this in the podcast. I don't need to go screaming it from the rooftops into people who maybe it's not a safe environment to have conversation with, but I get to confide in somebody that I can trust and bring that secret out and help it heal, right?
Mhm.
This healing balm on it and let, release, because um the body will like store up, right? We build these things up. Our ego likes to shame us. So shame and guilt and fear and control and perfectionism and judgment, all of that comes in when we're keeping secrets, right?
Yeah.
And we hold court with ourselves, right? We
Mm,
make ourselves guilty before we even really know. And then we're not just tried and convicted once. We're going to try and convict ourselves for 40 years, right? We're just going
yeah.
to over and over. But I actually had a therapist say to me, he's like, "Oh, damn, Corinne," he's like, "you are hard on yourself." And he's like, even Jesus was only crucified once.
Oof. Yeah. That's yeah.
And that hit me really hard because it was like,
Mm,
oh, I've been beating up myself for something that happened when I was 16 or whatever. And
mhm.
um but the repercussions of that, and the repercussions of continuing to turn that anger inward.
Right.
So because we know girls are nice, right? Be nice, right? And girls don't yell and scream. We don't behave like that. And so turning that inward, um it started to physically turn my body against itself.
Mm,
And I started to see all the different repercussions of that, where I started to say skin allergies. You were talking earlier about itching and uh,
right.
autoimmune disorders, gluten allergy and all these different things. And it was like, what the heck? And so the secret keepers was coming to me like over and over. And it was all about like all the secrets
Mm,
I've kept over the years. And it was like,
release.
it's got to come out. This
Right.
stuff has got to come out.
Yeah.
Um, and so just talking about things and how do we heal like grief, the thread of grief throughout my life. It wasn't just losing my family members, it was having my kids move away, right? Being a woman and being at this age, right? Because you go through that change in your life. Now you're
Mm,
no longer young. And so, your children are gone. They moved to opposite coasts,
mhm,
and to look in the mirror, you don't really recognize who's looking back at you anymore. Um,
mm,
and then the people that you love are starting to go away. And you start to look at your life and go, well, who the heck am I? And what purpose do I have anymore? Um,
mm,
that's when I was like, I'm telling this story is important to me. Telling any story is important to
Right.
me, because if you get a little intuitive hit like that, right? That's God talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
Prayers when we talk to God, intuition is God's talking back to you. Are you listening to what
Mm,
I say?
right.
If you're getting that little nudge that says, write the book, right? Write the chapter, write the book, write the
Yeah.
blog post, get on a live, whatever it is that you feel that's coming
Do
up,
it. Do
right?
it. Yep.
Because it's like, you don't know. And how I heard this today, and I thought, boy, this is just so on point. But if I don't fulfill my soul's journey, my kids won't either.
Mm-hmm.
It starts with me.
Yeah.
I need to do it so that they can do it, so that cycle keeps on, right? So because if I don't, if I didn't step in, I know I was the cycle breaker in my family. I,
Yeah.
I stood in a funeral home, pounded my fist on the tables and said, this ends here. We're done. We're not losing any more of our people.
Mm,
I'm done with it.
yeah.
You know what this was, but I was on a journey and I found it. And then it was like, we have to, take responsibility for the choices that we make from this point forward. And I said, sign me up. I'm here doing
Mm,
this. And I want to model that out then for other people, because if I can do it, I think anybody can do it. I've seen all sorts of things.
mm.
I look sweet.
I'm sure a lot comes out in these podcasts, but these people need release, and I bet you their health, their life probably improves after they do it. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so and I will say this, so that everybody that's been on as a guest is somebody that's already, they've walked the journey, right? So they're talking about what it was that they brought to light that helped them.
Mm-hmm.
They talk about the journey that they took themselves, right? And
Mm-hmm.
everybody's looks a little different, and that's what I love, because there's so many different types of healing modalities that you can use. I've talked to breathwork experts, and Reiki and frequencies, and you know
Mm,
and from spiritual people to, like, what are you doing, journaling, grief journaling, soul collaging, just all these different types of people, um
mm,
because how we all want to explore and move through grief and through the secrets, and bring the healing looks different.
mm.
So I want something that speaks to everybody, like, when we were listening to Dr. Shana's lists of accolades, like all, you use all different types of arts to express yourself.
Mm.
And I love that, because music therapy, art therapy,
Yeah.
those things, right, are so good for our soul. And then we also have, like, I'm a nature person. I love to be out in nature. So I'm going to
Mm.
take my socks off in the frosty cold, and I'm going to go and I'm going to ground myself in
Right. Right.
my yard, and, with the trees. And I talk to my trees. I will openly confess that. Like, I
Yeah.
love animals, right? So that therapy comes from, just in all different ways. And I love to explore all of that, because it's not, I like to bring it, that's why I have lots of different tools in my toolbox too, right? I believe that, everybody that I meet, that I work with, requires a different recipe, right? So I make
Mm.
them their own special little cake recipe, because I don't believe in any cookie cutter people. That
Right. Right.
way you need to heal, and the way Dr. Shana needs to heal, and the way Natasha needs to heal is going to be different
Mm.
than the way I need to heal. So, what does that look like? And what can we do to get you to that place where you're, moving forward? And I don't know, I just think it's a wonderful place to be, anyways, to be able to have, access to all those different resources. And I like to share them. So,
Well, I love that. And thank you so much for sharing and what your chapter's about. It's so, so needed. I'll just leave it on this note. We've only got a couple minutes left and we have to wrap it up. But the other thing I do is I answer phones for grocery stores. And what I've been noticing, like you said, with what life is right now, money is tough. Everything's just so hard. People are getting angrier and angrier and just snapping at the snap of a finger. They roll their eyes at me or it's just absolutely insane. But I try to take it with a grain of salt because they're just dealing with so much. Like you just don't know what the heck is going on behind closed doors and what they're dealing with. So it's like you just try to deal with it. But I'll tell you, I feel like it's increasing and increasing. It's getting worse and worse and worse. They're getting more and more angry and just they're almost like the little kids on the playground. You know what I mean? Like, listen to me, somebody. I need to yell at somebody. Listen to me. So I just try to take it with a grain of salt. But that's one thing I've noticed. But Corinne, tell people how they can reach you
Mm.
and your podcast if you need any
Yeah.
guests for your podcast or whatever. Just tell everybody quickly how they can reach you.
You can find the Secret Keepers podcast. It's HERS on the end. It's Secret Keepers podcast.
Okay.
On any of the podcast platforms like Spotify and Apple are the two big ones, but iHeartRadio and it pushes out to all the different platforms. You can find me on my website, CorrineZuliger.com. I am on TikTok as Corrine Zuliger. Instagram is Corrine_Zuliger. You can find me on Facebook. If you are interested in being on the podcast, if that speaks to you, you can send me a message through Messenger, and then we can chat about it. I can send you I have something called the podcast interest form. You can go ahead and check that out. Those are really the best ways to find me. Anytime, send me a message, if you send it over Instagram or anything like that.
Okay.
I'm not incredibly tech savvy, but I'm
Got it.
goodbye.
All right. Thank you. Natasha, I think you pretty much mentioned how to reach you, but one more time, if you want to just give everybody a quick how they can reach you.
Sure. I'm on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
You can reach me under author Natasha Cook. The best way to reach me is through Messenger.
Me too. It's easy. Yep.
Easier.
Right. All right. And Dr. Shana, we're just wrapping it up. Any last thoughts? And how people can reach you?
I'll share a snippet of a part I wrote. Will be a last thought, where it says, "Walking in your purpose is one of the most powerful journeys you can embark on. It means aligning your life with the calling that is unique to yours. A calling of woo from your passion, your strength, and your experience, and even your deepest struggle." And I'll leave it at that. And how to find me? You can find me on Facebook as Dr. Shana Gourdine. You can find me on Instagram as the Lady Behind the Mask 22, and you can find me on my website at www.sheenaunmastingmotivation.com.
Thank you. Thank you all for being on tonight. I'm looking forward. So this was part one. We're going to have a few more of the authors from this book on in my next episode on the next Sunday after. So I'm looking forward to meeting more of you in this book and hearing more about it. I'm really excited. Thank you all for being on. And just one little announcement for me. I am looking for people to be on the show. Anybody who's gone through an illness, maybe you have a book that has to do with illness, can be emotional. I'm looking to partner with other practitioners to help with like recipes if they need recipes for their clients or patients, anything like that. I also provide business funding, and I do offer a service to be like in the business spotlight. So I advertise your business on all my platforms. TikTok, a little bit on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. So I kind of just spotlight you and advertise you on stories and reels and all of that. just to give you more exposure. So that's really inexpensive, just another way to get out there. And then if you wanted to sponsor on the show, we can do that as well. So I want to thank you all again. Your book is just amazing, and kudos to you for getting it out there. There's somebody out there waiting, and we'll be praying for the right hands to get on that book, and praying for the people that need those stories in their lives and for it to help change their lives. So thank you again, and we will see you next Sunday. Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Bye.
you.